Like check 1, 2. Pay attention to the responses in the chat. Yo, Snow Bunny. To get your romance on. Oh, well, of course, today we got SML Podcast. As my homie Storm mentioned, we got Yang Ming Shang and Gaming Podcast. SML airs every Saturday, either on this platform or on the Stadia Dosage platform, which me and Project Storm are members of. Definitely follow this channel because you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it. We're not changing the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? It's just as simple as that. If you want to catch every fiery SML, and actually when my brother Storm is hosted it's a lot more organized show. So I think you want to follow him here. Follow him here. Follow us on Stadia Dosage for all that great goodness about pretty much everything gaming as well, but with a strong focus on cloud gaming and Stadia. Now on Sundays, Yang Meets Yang at Gaming, fiery debates, deep dive discussions from two gamers with serious lineage. One from a technical aspect, the other one from just a pure gamer aspect. That is Yang Meets Yang at Gaming. It is co-hosted by Project Storm and Snow Bunny Gaming. Shout out to Snow Bunny in the chat. We also have another show called SSC Podcast. That's all Stadia, everything related to Stadia. It is also co-hosted by Project Storm, myself, and our good friend, when available, Eddie Player One. We had a great show this past Thursday with my spiritual advisor on all things Stadia, Clive Linden, man, one of the best shows that we've had so far this year. Definitely got to check it out. Last but not least, check out the show where we talk all things gaming. Great power panel. Again, Project Storm, Snow Bunny, myself, and Tron Tron from the Sick Humor King Thrash Roundtable Podcast. Check us out every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was another hell of a show that we had, and that is our current lineup of PNTS Network content, which is bound to grow. But more news coming on that later. And I turn it back to my good brother Project Storm. Absolutely. Out. Yes. Get off the lawn. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Yes. Hold on. They said they can't hear you, Storm. Said they can't hear Storm. Uh-oh. All right, so Storm, well, and still let us know when y'all can hear Storm. You know what I'm saying? They said for some reason his mic is muted, but we'll continue on. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the chat. I'll just shout y'all out real quick. Again, we got Cloud Gamer 201. We got Daryl Smock in the house. Hey, Daryl, I like that question that you gave to us on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? That was dope. Sean L. Gamer Boy 2055, 2005 with the meme cast avatar. I like that. I like that. Stadia Pro Gaming. Charles Arad, and Cloud Gamer 201.
Microphone check. They should be able to hear me now, man. Don't tell me
Can y'all hear him now?
I just ran through all that hotness and they couldn't even hear it. Let me know, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if you can hear me, please. Now that right there is kind of funny. But yeah, I'm almost certain they can hear me now. So with that being said, man, we're gonna jump right back onto the track. All right, Stadia Pro Gaming with the thumbs up. So look, as I was saying, y'all, that I don't know if you heard anything I had to say this morning, but I was definitely telling MM2K he could take a break, man. He did a hell of an intro. And then I was just calling out everybody in the chat. So if you are here right now, I have already called you out. You know what I'm saying? Daryl Smock Jr. said, yo, this is funny. Hey, yeah, you know what it came down to? I had to go into settings on OBS, on Streamlabs OBS, and turn the mic on, man. It's crazy. That's what happens sometimes, y'all. But anyway, we have a hell of a show planned for y'all, you know, jam-packed. So we're going to stop talking, and we're going to get into some of that. But before we do that, we have to ask the question, y'all. As everybody is highlighting the fact that they can hear me now, I appreciate it. Makes me feel like a little bit of a celebrity here. Hey, MM.
Yes, sir.
I got to hit you with the critical question. What have you been playing, my brother?
Oh, man. Well, you caught me frauding. I've been playing a lot of Madden. Because I got a love-hate relationship with sports games right now, Storm. And I suck at Madden. And I'm gonna blame Madden. I'm gonna do what salty gamers do. I'm not gonna blame it on my skills, Storm.
Yeah.
Madden. I ain't played Madden in 11 years, and the game of football ain't changed in 11 years, but this game utterly makes no flipping sense to me right now. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense to me. Trying to play call audibles it's like doing calculus. I don't know. So I'm having a hard time, but I what I do is I put it on the hardest settings. This is what you got to do to train yourself. You put it on the hardest settings, and then you play the best team. The best team on Madden right now is the New Orleans Saints. Now, even though I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, you know what I'm saying? Drew Brees can throw the football through the eye of a needle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To anybody, to a man with no hands. You know, and we had a game last night that came down to the wire. They still whooped my ass, but it's okay. But I've been focusing a lot on Madden because that's just how I'm a consummate competitor like that. And I don't like the fact of getting my ass kicked. And I'm part of the Stadia Football League. Shout out to Brian Evolve. I'm a part of that. And I want to finally be above 500. So that's where all my focus been. Oh, no. I'm lying. I've been playing some Immortals Phoenix Rising. And I've been playing it on Stadia, natively on PC and GFN. You know, so that's where, for me, GFN, and I know people think we're hating on it or it doesn't feed our
we'll get into that. We'll
get into that crap. But no, GFN for that game is great for me on that game. So I love playing Immortals Phoenix Rising there. Just be careful, guys and gals, if you're playing any of these Ubisoft games, particularly something with Immortals Phoenix Rising. When you go from platform to platform, even though it's supposed to be cross progression, sometimes your files can get corrupted. Your save files can get corrupted. I noticed that most when I play on Amazon and go somewhere. But now it's starting to happen where if I go to GFN and then I go back to Stadia or I go to PC, it says my file is corrupted. And I don't understand why. Because GFN is just a PC in the sky, so I don't get it. But besides that, great experience. So those are the 2 games I've been playing this week, brother.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I've been playing some Destiny 2, as you can see right now on the screen. I had the homie Static Fox, as some of you may know, who's definitely in the Stadia gaming on the scene. He jumped in. And I don't even think Static knew at the time that I was running the stream where anybody could jump in this situation, right? So we're here we are, new content, Season of the Chosen. We're just trying to level up. That's all we want to do. You know what I'm saying? We don't know the ins and out. Shout out to Link TV, Megatron X, and others who play the game faithfully, Bibbidi Bop, and all these guys, Rick Tone. They know what the hell what's going on. All I want to do is just see an Ingram drop on the ground that I can pick up, and then my power level go up right now. But I have been doing better, y'all. I've been trying to jump into the lower of the game and get everything popping in the right way. And I've been playing other games as well, like Resident Evil 7 on PC. Been playing a little Series X. Y'all know me. I play everything. That's why I can give y'all the takes that I give you when we get on this panel each and every time. And we'll get more into that as well, because there seems to be this kind of notion that once you're a Stadia gamer, you're always going to be a Stadia gamer, and if you're not, then shame on you. You can go somewhere else
or a sole Stadia gamer.
Yeah, sole Stadia gamer. So I mean, that necessarily is false in my opinion, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If you have the money, you have the means. This gaming is it's made of an entire industry of different companies and all that stuff, different developers who want to bring their game to as many platforms as possible. And if you have the means and you have the desire to play on other platforms, do so. I mean, don't let anybody control where you play and how you play. That's just my thoughts as Project Storm. But been playing a whole lot of.
Can I piggyback off?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can, man. You can.
Now, even though, and this is going to be critical in this conversation, so jot this down. Clip that. What Storm said is a 1,000,000,000% right. But even though people like Storm and myself have been blessed and have been fortunate enough to, whatever means, get access to multiple platforms, we do understand and we do sympathize with those of you that may not be able to.
Absolutely.
That realize that, hey, cloud gaming or platforms like Stadia do present an opportunity for convenience or price efficiency that allow someone like a Johnny to get back into gaming. And even though our personal test case may be different from yours, we are unbiased enough where we judge this stuff, where we can talk to you, the person that may not be in our shoes. So that's the great thing about Storm, myself, the Stadia Dosage platform, that despite our personal test cases, we keep it truth to power. We speak to everybody. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well, because so people don't think that we sedity and then, you know what I'm saying, we up here with our 3,000 series card Storm and we think we bet. No, we don't run like that here. Trust me. Storm plays everything, but he sympathizes with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we try to do here on SML Podcast Stadia Dosage. I just wanted to drop that out.
Man, I'm glad you cleared that up. People that's already been around, y'all, they know what time it is. But for the new people that might not know, I appreciate that, my brother. You know what time it is. Like this is what we do. So, that's kind of like why I also said that if you had the means, that's what because some people have flat out said that during this pandemic and stuff, for example, man, that times are just rough. They don't have the money to be throwing at these companies. Exactly. And I have agreed with them thousands of times. Every time I will always agree with that. Right now, with that being said, we have some opinions out here, man. Everybody has their own. MM2K, I can't tell you what to say and how to say it. I don't think you would ever allow that to happen in the first place, right? So us knowing that
you ain't gonna allow it to happen, and that's the way it should be, right?
Us knowing that, man, we have to kind of see. A lot of people are searching for news and they wonder from week to week, what the hell am I going to cover? You might be guilty of that yourself, man. Thank God for all of you who put that time in researching, reading article after article, getting to know journalists and everything like that, who we do praise, who we do appreciate for all their hard work, even though we do have our own critique at times, MM2K, we respect the work that they put in, because we are not out here doing that type of work, So I just wanted to clarify and make that very clear before we even start today's topics.
Absolutely.
It's, again, with everybody's opinion, it makes it, now you're listening to a million voices, MM, when it comes to gaming, or a billion, or billions, right? Of voices when it comes to gaming, how gaming should be, and what these consoles and cloud platforms and everything, PC, what it should be like. You know, the makers of the hardware, NVIDIA, AMD, and others. I said something in last week's episode or whatever, and I think it was along the lines of, you know, just talking about. Well, I've done this in the past. I've always tried to kind of like back developers and their efforts and all that stuff, man. And you know, certain journalists and, you know, even some YouTubers who have hated on the Stadia platform, man. I try to keep an open mind. At some point, though, MM2K, it gets really hard to listen to some of the things that you're hearing. Sometimes when certain people speak on things, I'm like, whoa, did you do the research? And I heard you ask this question to many of your friends that you know that you've been around for a long time, that you highly respect. And to me, y'all, we're not saying that we know every damn thing. I want to say that before MM, because I know he's going to get into it. We don't know every damn thing. None of us do. That's why we're here. We're supporting each other. We listen to each other. We are in this community, and when issues arise, we try to tackle them as best we can. But I want to get into the fact that I'm just confused today, and maybe you can help me out, bro, because I'm just baffled at the fact that some people who are actually gamers who have been doing this thing for a long time, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, Stadia drops and cloud gaming is on the scene now. And it's like they forgot how to do the same research they were doing when I was on Xbox with them. I'm talking about me. When I was on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC with them in the past, they had forgotten how to do this research. So I'm going to ask you, how important is research, MM2K? And are you seeing any of what I'm talking about, or is it just me?
No, it's integral. It's integral, Storm. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that share button. Let everybody know that we're live, y'all. Please, because we're going to get to some very powerful discussion. And this got to be heard. So I just want to say this. No, here's what it is, Storm. I had a live stream yesterday where I was a little animated, right? And I used some descriptives and some adjectives to describe some things about what I'm seeing in the community. And I meant it, and I'm not taking it back. Why? Because I get it. We got a lot of new people doing this, right? I've been doing this for years, and I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody else. I've been doing this for years. I just haven't been successful at it.
Right.
But I've been groomed in this for years.
You've been successful, not as successful as you want to be. You've been successful.
Well, I was successful in learning and getting a lot of lumps in the process, right? But the thing is, Storm, is that what I've learned is the unbiased approach whenever you're coming up with a thesis or a theme. Meaning, you got to have your facts. You got to have a theme. Then after your theme, you have to have facts that support it. But to ensure that your theme has legs to it and you're not just emotionally tied to a thought, you have to rebut your theme. And if you cannot effectively rebut your theme and still have your theme stand up, that's an issue with your theme. And then after you rebut your theme, if you can do it, then you rebut the rebut, and then you close it out with your final thoughts. And what I'm seeing is, I'm seeing a lot of themes out here where people make slogans, they say things, and they don't kick the tires of it. And there's nothing wrong with having an opinion piece. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion piece. But it has to come across as an opinion. Why? Because if it don't, and you're a pillar of XYZ community, people are automatically going to assume, they're going to look at your numbers, they're going to look at your stature in the community, they're going to look at your following, they're going to say, look, these people wouldn't be following you if this rhetoric wasn't true. Prime example. One of the biggest things that I've been out here, and I'm going to shut up, Storm, because I know we ain't got much time, but one of the biggest things that I've been an advocate for is, I said, look, with all this SG and E mess, I really had to go through a mental exercise. I had to sit back and say to myself, what if Stadia isn't around? Not because I'm doubtful of it, but just had to go through the mental exercise to say, okay, if I am saying that nobody knows everything, like Storm just said, and I'm not in the boardroom, then I got to entertain the notion that I might be wrong in my beliefs. So what if I am wrong and Stadia does go away at the end of the year, even though they spoke otherwise? We'll get to that.
We about to be cousin and everything.
Then where am I going to go to next?
All right.
And my next feasible option would be GFN. And then the next question I got to ask is, would I be happy with GFN? No, I wouldn't be happy. Why? Because I got to suffer through this and suffer through and we'll get into that later. So then, but that doesn't mean that I can't be happy. So in order for me, what do I got to do to close the gap between me being happy and others who don't have a good experience with GFN? What do we got to do in order to close that gap?
Right.
Why we got to wait for this fictitious event or scenario to happen? Why can't we address it now? We spend 2 or 3 threads, pages of threads and hours on podcasts addressing Stadia. Why don't we address GFN? Why don't we address Shadow? Why don't we address Amazon? Why? Because we live in a 5%er world when it comes to the cloud community gaming news. That is, if I like something, I'm only going to caveat and find the information that supports my beliefs. And that does justice when you're preaching to the choir. But when your content reaches the masses or reaches a group of people that are the unsuspecting gamer, you're doing them a disservice. And that's where I kind of get baffled and where we actually got to push back. And like I said last night, I'm having a reflection on all this. Might have to push back further. We can no longer keep slicing out little carves of information and putting the unsuspecting gamer in a box that we want them to fit in. We need to be at a mind state that when we're reporting news or we're going over the basic news, that we're putting everything out on the table. Once we put everything out on the table, Storm, then we step back and we say, okay, well, here's what's on that table that I like and here's why.
Yeah.
Now you pick what you like. And what they may do is they say, you know what, MM2K, or you know what, Project Storm, I like what you like, so I'm gonna roll with you. Or somebody else may say, you know what, I get where you guys are coming from, love it, it's entertaining, but I don't follow that notion. Those are not my concerns. I'm going with this. If that's how it works, our job is done. But we're not doing that job right now. We're trying to fit squares and circle holes. People are recognizing it, Storm, and calling it out. They're getting called names. Then the name callers are getting called. And it's a big mess. It's a big, horrible mess. And it has to stop and it has to be fixed. And I'm going to do my part to do that.
And see, that's where it goes astray. That's where it goes wrong. Because, see, you got to understand, this is a culturally diverse gaming community. I'm not talking about no damn Google Stadia right now. Yeah. Culturally diverse gaming community. Some of us from many different backgrounds, whatever those backgrounds are, you know what I'm saying? So we got to start thinking like that. You can't just come out there and say something to somebody and expect there not to be like a shot fired back at you or whatever, right?
Or
so this, I rebut or whatever you want to do, man. Discourse or whatever you want to call it, whatever, right? But some people out here, I know this. I'm cautious of it, MM2K. I know that if I walk through the wrong hood, and I'm out there and I'm talking like, yo, I run this block. You know what I'm saying? I know what could happen. So
Exactly.
So look, I always try to forewarn people who may have not seen that type of environment, the type of heat that we're talking about. So it's just that think before you act approach that I try to take, man. And I'm definitely not going to come at nobody's neck that I don't really know like that. I'm not going to do anything like that because it's just setting me up for failure, man. And embarrassment because now the whole world could see this shit unfold. You know what I'm saying? So, but let me back up a little bit because everything you said was it was just well put, man. But I want to back up and I want to give a couple shout outs, man. All right, this February, we're talking about cultural diversity and all that, man. We're talking about, Black History Month and all that, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And, I appreciate all the content creators out here that are putting that work in, all of you, but definitely those who I can relate to when it comes to that cultural aspect of gaming and who we are as Black content creators. Now, with that being said, I want to shout out Daryl Smock Jr. for
shout out
first of all for trusting in us as podcasters and gamers in the Stadia community and beyond. Because see, when I talked about my confusion earlier, I don't know if I was muted or not, can't remember, but I talked about me being confused, man. And Daryl Smart reached out, sent out a tweet that's there for the world to see. I appreciate it. And, he seemed to be confused on something that came up recently, and that's that lawsuit that we're hearing that's buzzing around MM2K, right? So he put his thoughts out there, wanting us to touch on that today. We're going to do just that, Daryl Smart. We always ask people to comment, SML comments and all that. That's for the giveaway. But you could also reach out to us, on Twitter. We could have discourse. We might bring some of that to the show or whatever show that we decide to do, whether it be SSC, YMYOG, whether that be, SML or whatever, the commission, whatever the case is. But I want to also highlight Unit 2 games and Google Stadia. Why? We're talking about Black History Month, right?
Absolutely.
Well, many of you may know that I was a recipient of the Black Creator, all right, Creator prize fund that they had. So Creator, the game Creator, on Stadia right now, okay? Unit 2 games, along with Google Stadia, they were basically giving out like these prizes to Black content creators who also jumped on the game and made games within Creator itself, So I won that. I was very happy. I was fortunate, man. It still means a lot to me. I can't lie to y'all. I won $2,000. Now, let me say this to y'all. I come on a new platform like Stadia. I've been gaming on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, kicked out thousands upon thousands of dollars. Listen to this story. I get on Google Stadia. I hear nothing but hate, MM2K. We want it dead. We want it dead. At the time, it was a time when I really was like, yo, man, I really could use a little bit of money for what I'm trying to do with content creation, to be able to bring people 4K. That's my goal. That's my dream. I really want to do this. My son also wants to jump into streaming. I just don't have the extra funds right now because we're trying to do something to the house. So it was at a time when I really didn't have the extra funds, man. So I jumped in real quick, and I'm not going to make storyline. I jumped in, didn't know what the hell I was doing, tried my best, almost said, no, I can't do this, almost gave up on myself because I'm not a game developer. I don't know what the hell, Lua and all this script writing and all that stuff is, coding and all that shit. I don't have a clue. But something said, nah, bro, go ahead, man. And then Link TV and 6'4" and Cloud Gamer 201 and Bibbidi Bop and Eddie Player One and Sonny and Rock and everybody came by and encouraged me to keep on going, man. So I did. And I won that, y'all. I won that $2,000. It made me feel so damn good, man, as a Black content creator. Just made me feel real good, right? So they're out here wanting Stadia to die. They're doing things like giving people a way to play during the pandemic, right? But we wanted to die. They're out here trying to bring us the best way to play games when it comes to convenience, but we want it to die. They want to kill Unit 2 games and Google Stadia, who still, for example, this is just one example of what I could be talking about, but they want this to die, man. And they're out here trying to support things like Black content creators and stuff like that, Black History Month and all that, man. Shout out to them. Huge shout out.
Shout out to them.
That's just one small portion.
And Google, there was an article, I wish I had it up, Storm. Google actually stepped in and helped Uniform Games go and extend the Black Creators Program up until May. Unit 2, I'm sorry. My apologies. They went and helped them extend this program up until May by putting in some money. Google Stadia did that. And this is why we believe, and again, you can believe what you want to believe, but this is why we believe that the platform, and these are just the smaller things, the platform is here to stay, Storm. They're doing stuff like this. If you're winding down, you don't put this stuff on your books. You know what I'm saying? You don't do stuff like this and put this on your books. Along with the spokespeople that have come out and said things, I'm gonna hold that till later. But this is just the great stuff that Google Stadia is doing. And yes, because they have a target at their back, because people have an agenda, they're going to find, if you're looking for problems, you're going to find problems, especially in the gaming industry, and especially with a company that's doing it for the first time. You're going to find problems. You know what I'm saying? Like, if blood, sweat, and see, back in the day, Storm, you had to wait until someone like Jason Schreier got all his footnotes together, typed something up. It took you years to find out the stuff after the fact. And then you got blood, sweat, and pixels. But nowadays, it's instantaneous. So if you got a target on your back, they can find bad news about you every day. And Stadia is the entity that has the target on its back. So when people say, oh, Stadia is just doing it to itself, doing what to itself? The same thing that's happening at Stadia is happening at all these other companies. This is the same stuff that happens there. Read blood, sweat, and pixels. It's just Stadia is new right now. They got the target on their back. And the only other difference is Stadia isn't fleshed out as a platform. So the journalists say, well, you know what? We're going to leave Microsoft alone. We're going to leave PlayStation alone, unless them two are going against each other, because those are bread and butter. Stadia right now is it. So we can get our clicks off of them. Don't antagonize or feed in to the lamestream media's rhetoric by saying Stadia did this to themselves. You're giving them an excuse for them not to have integrity. And we got to be better than that. And we're going to help the community be better than that by shining the light on the truth.
Yo, well said. Now, shout out to Raph Gaming, who's here in the chat. Another winner, another recipient of that prize fund that I just talked about. You know what I'm saying? And also a tester on my level that I made. The game is called Storm the Castle. If you play Kratos or if you happen to jump in one day, check out Storm the Castle and you'll see what I was able to create. I think I'm proud of it. You know what I'm saying? Remember, I'm not a game developer, but I'm proud of that. So we're going to move on, y'all, because, again, we have limited time. Now, before we move on, MM, I want to ask you your thoughts on opening up the phone lines today, because, man, when we get into the facts and these articles and everything, that's going to back up what we've been saying. I want to make sure that we're going to have time, or maybe it's a time, we'll be able to open up the phone lines.
I set it up for 12:30, 12:35. Maybe we can do it at 12:45.
All right. Okay.
Whatever you want to do, good brother.
So we'll do that. We'll do that, y'all. And bear with us because we're about to go in. All right.
Absolutely.
So before we get into the actual article, this right here is gonna kind of like be a good precursor to, before we do break down the articles and our thoughts on those. But Stadia's performance, MM2K, seems to be highly respected, man. It seems to be highly respected by all those, even some of the most well-known Stadia haters or whatever. And we call them haters because that's what they appear to be, not because they're actual. They hate the play. Hey, look, they're haters. Put it like that. I'm not going to try to butter it up. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. So, the performance seems to be something that people keep talking about. Hey, man, 4K. And you'll see that in a couple of these articles. 4K 60, up to 4K 60. And we're talking about this lawsuit, MM. I know we didn't really get into the nook and cranny of that. But the lawsuit has a lot to do with the 4K 60 or the 4K promise or whatever that they consider a promise. But I want to get into those thoughts real quick.
Real quick. Yeah.
Because I remember Doom Eternal, and I remember us learning from this. We talked about it, MM. Doom Eternal was slated to be 4K 60. Now, some people could say true. Some people could say native. You know what I mean? I know that they got on stage and somebody said 4K 60. Did they mention native?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Here's what happened.
Okay, go ahead, because I want you to break this one down, man. I want you to break this one down.
Okay.
But look. So the Doom Eternal situation is where me and we first learned that we might want to just temper our expectations a little bit because it might not hit native 4K, nor were we expecting this platform to always hit 4K in every damn game, man. I just wanted to throw that out there. What's your thoughts on it?
See, and real quick. Yep. So here's what happened. Stadia talked about 4K 60 happening on the platform, right? But when they were bringing it up, they were bringing it up from a technical aspect. Okay. And I think there was nothing wrong with that. There was a tweet from Phil Harrison, later with the homie Trezor Rector, that I think was full of technical bibble babble. He was trying to walk a fine line, and I think that was a mistake. But the technicalities of 4K 60 frames per second benchmarks, I think they were accurate on them. Explain why. Now, Bethesda hit the stage and they said, our game, Doom Eternal, is going to be native 4K. Talked about Vulkan, and because Doom Eternal was based off of Vulkan, it was a perfect fit, and why their game. See, I watched GDC over and over again. I can recite that whole damn thing from verbatim. Their game would be 4K 60, native 4K 60. Now, here's the problem, Storm, and why I think that this is a nothing burger and this is going to die and fizzle out. Because we got precedent, number one. This is similar to what we saw with Killzone Shadowfall, where Killzone Shadowfall, actually, they said they boasted 1080p 60, but the way they were reaching 1080p was through dynamic, scaling.
Yeah.
And nobody knew about dynamic scaling at the moment, and it wasn't as popular as it is now, but people felt like they were frauded because of dynamic scaling, right? And and to be honest, dynamic scaling wasn't as impressive as it is now. So I kind of get it. But you have a situation to where you have a community where, and this is what the lawyers are going to argue. You have a community where a lot of these people get their information from a digital foundry. Xbox out there, when they were talking about true 4K, when they made up the term true 4K and native 4K, they actually have a website, Storm, with a list of the different variations of 4K that the gaming industry has accepted. So that's going to be in a lawsuit. And then they're going to say, look, there is a difference between native 4K and 4K that's accepted in the community. Look at how many people react to the Digital Foundry videos. We never said that everything on Stadia would be native 4K. So that's gonna make the lawsuit a wash. It may happen, they may settle whatever they decide to do, and the lawsuit's gonna be a wash. Here's my message to the gaming community, Storm, and I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
This is testament that people need to kick the tires. They need to do their due diligence, and y'all need to get out of this fog where somehow y'all think that Stadia was supposed to represent this evolution of gaming right out of the bag. I know they talked about being 10.7 teraflops, but opposite of talking about being 10.7 teraflops, there was nothing in Stadia's presentation that made you believe, or should make you believe, that they were going to be this end-all, be-all outside of the bag. Stadia didn't do it. You know who did it? The media. The media got it wrong on Stadia, and because the media don't want to admit when they're wrong, they're now blaming Stadia for fooling you and making you think it was going to be something that it never was going to be. After years and years and years of Grassgate, all this stuff with Digital Foundry, we should know that when we don't hear native 4K, that we're not to expect native 4K. We've been going through this for years. And the media did not do its job and didn't ask questions. They bloviated and created this myth of what they thought Stadia was going to be. And when that myth wasn't the facts, they blamed Stadia. So those are my thoughts on it from the legal perspective. Those are my thoughts on it from the community perspective.
Right.
They never mentioned native 4K. I've been on shows where we battled native 4K versus dynamic and which box was better. We did it for hours. How come all of a sudden it doesn't matter with Stadia? If Stadia mentions 4K, they got to be set on a higher plateau, that they always got to be talking about native. Think about that. Look in the mirror if you have that thought process and think about that. So those are my thoughts.
Man, I'm the biggest advocate of 4K gaming in the damn room, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody loves crispy 4K more than me. But I do want to. Now, he just touched on the PlayStation side of things with the Killzone, that whole fiasco. But I'm going to touch on the fact that Xbox came out and announced that the Xbox One X was going to be true 4K. We heard those lines, we heard those words, and even the Series X was going to be the world's most powerful console and all this type of dialogue, right? But, you know, it didn't take long for me to realize as an owner of an Xbox One X that it wasn't hitting every game at true 4K.
Exactly.
They were using some type of dynamic rendering or checkerboarding. You know, Sony uses the term checkerboarding or whatever, but dynamic scaling, dynamic rendering or whatever you want to call it. And I also go to the day with PC gaming right now, man. They're using DLSS to hit these, you know, what I consider beautiful resolutions or whatever. But some people consider that cheating, you know what I'm saying? But you don't hear it. You don't hear it being held to the same account as Stadia for allegedly promising that all games. This is what some people are saying, man. Some people are saying, I had these conversations, right? They said that all games was going to be 4K 60. See, the thing is, people take what they want out of these different statements, these interviews, these articles, but they really don't go back and really call out, you know, what makes the most sense, in my opinion, man. Like, if you go to the, so right now I want to pull up the 9 to 5. I don't know if you have the 9 to 5.
Yes.
You know, that one.
9 to 5 article.
9 to 5 about the lawsuit or whatever. And then let me share this.
No, I don't have the 9 to 5,
okay.
but I can get
Well, that's the one that Daryl Smart, he dropped that and I dropped it for you. So if you want to go back and look in the DM or whatever. But so I'm going to get this ready to be pulled up as soon as you have it on the screen. But man, it's just stuff like this, and it kind of makes you think. Yeah. Did it look good at launch? You know, it did have some people thinking that, you know, they were going to be able to play games at true 4K, 60 FPS. But myself and MM2K, we were always hesitant to believe that every game was going to be running at 4K 60, y'all. And in fact, that's why you hear us call out so many times games like Watch Dogs Legion and Serious Sam. We have called these games out as being subpar when it comes to performance, right? So, but did that deter our love of the platform? Did that make us want to go and jump ship and go to somewhere else? Like, okay, like PC. Yeah, I'm just gonna highlight and then I'll ask you to scroll down a little bit. Hold on 1 second. Let me go to the view. Okay. So right here, you're seeing that article from 9 to 5 Google. Shout out again to Daryl Smock Jr. for dropping that tweet with this article linked or whatever. We want to scroll down a little bit, MM2K, to where it says we address this issue, right? There's a couple paragraphs explaining that, you know, Google was saying something about the 4K promise and all that stuff, right? And I'm not going to read through the whole thing because we have other articles to get into and some of them are pretty lengthy. But right here in that paragraph where it said we address this issue around the time of Stadia's launch, talking about how Google was indeed exaggerating the quality of games. It's true that Google did explicitly say all games would be streamed at 4K 60, but it was later clarified that some games would render at lower resolutions and be upscaled to hit the optional 4K 60 stream that Google was originally referring to. Now, what does that mean? Yes, it could be deceiving to some that signed up day one, I guess, MM. And I definitely want your quick take on it. I guess it could be a little deceptive to those who signed up thinking that all their games at the time on November 19th, that they were going to be able to play all their games at 4K 60. You know, I'm just playing devil's advocate, but to me, this says...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To me, this says, well, they might have thought they had a target. They thought that maybe with their technology, you know, given the AMD tech that they have, you know, on the GPU side of things and the CPU that they have or whatever, and the fact that they were talking about all the trickery and stuff that could happen to have these GPUs and CPUs speaking to each other to help increase performance. But what it meant to me was that, yeah, it's up to I remember Phil or somebody saying it was going to be up to the developers. And from the moment I heard that, I knew that not all games was going to be 4K 60, nor did I want all games to be running at 4K 60.
And I was said before the console launched. Yeah, the problem with this storm, and shout out to 9 to 5 Google. I love their work, and it's okay to agree to disagree. But I think this is a failure of the media. Here's why it's a failure. As someone that pretty much has been part of the media at a lower scale, I can tell you that we've had debates over native 4K. Microsoft, I'm going to find it as a matter of fact, while you give your take on this. I'm going to find it. Microsoft has a sheet where they give all the acceptable forms of 4K. And what Stadia is doing is part of that. So if they don't say native 4K, look, like for instance, when you pick up a Blu-ray DVD, they talk about a Blu-rays being 4K, right?
Yeah.
You know that a Blu-ray, no, there's Blu-ray and then there's Ultra UHD or whatever, right? Do you know that Blu-ray is actually 1800p scaled up to 4K?
Man.
So if that is the acceptable format of Blu-ray, and people can refer to Blu-ray as 4K, then why is this Stadia's fault? This is indicative of the media going to everybody and saying, ooh, and Stadia is promising native 4K. I've seen it a lot. I've been on your more popular talk shows, gaming talk shows, not as a guest, but doing viewer mail, and them regurgitating this erroneously. This is the media's fault. And this is the media not wanting to say, you know what, we made a mistake and we didn't ask the right questions. And they should have asked the right questions after years of Digital Foundry, Microsoft, everybody telling you that there's different variations of 4K, which include checkerboard, upscale, whatever. Yep. It just happens to be, and I'm gonna say this real quick and shut up, Storm. What it is that people assumed in the media that it had to be all 4K 60 because in the back of their mind, they were thinking, well, if Stadia's not coming with all 4K 60, then why are they competing in the first place? Not understanding that the platform had to go through stages. That's all.
And also they wanted to, some of them may have wanted to, MM2K, they may have wanted to come up with this false idea to put out there that, Stadia is capable. If it's capable of running games at 4K 60, why isn't it? You know what I mean? Are they lying? Mm-hmm. And stuff like that, man. So, you got to be careful with how people, with their intent. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, like the next paragraph under there, just really quick, you see how they highlighted that in bold text. A pattern Stadia's leadership just can't break, right? So now, are we trying to sneak some folks? See, this is what I think when I read this. Now, I'm the reader. You all are the journalists. Yeah. To all my journalists, shout out. I love all of you. I respect your work. I've read several of your articles and everything. I can't do it like you. Kudos to you. But as the reader, because some people leave comments on this stuff, man, like myself. And it's kind of like confusing, so I just need a little clarity. It's because now it's like a pattern, and I get that Stadia's leadership just can't break. But see, you got to be careful right there, y'all, when you are reading this stuff. And it happened in more and more of the articles that I was reading. And I was like, man, did they really need to put that in there? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it is what it is. I know you want people to understand what's going on, and I know that 9 to 5 Google has been known to praise Stadia as well, so I'm definitely not throwing any kind of smoke at them personally, but I'm just saying how this stuff can be deceptive. All right. And it says the hardware behind Stadia is in fact more powerful than PS4 or Xbox One as promised. All right. And games are playable in 4K. Destiny 2 lacks 4K on Stadia, but that's not Google's fault. It lies on developer Bungie's choice to prioritize frame perspective. Now, then people say, well, it's on the developers. So why didn't the developers just do it if it's possible? But then you look at the Xbox side of things, and I think they said the same thing. It's up to the developers. I thought I remember them saying something like that before.
Exactly.
But the focus is on Stadia, y'all. We know why. So we're gonna move on, MM. I'm gonna go ahead and switch this back to that gameplay, and we're gonna anything else you want to talk about on that one before we move to the next one, man?
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head on that one, man. Just again, be mindful of the mainstream media. They don't understand this technology. They usually put the carriage before the horse. They tripped over themselves with this one, and they're just not wanting to be honest because their integrity is on the line. They feel, I guess, and if they admit that they were wrong, they feel like that's going to hurt their clicks. That's what the media hyped this up. They didn't ask the right questions until it was too late. And you can blame Stadia too for not responding, but that's Google's MO. So you can kind of say that you can get mad at them morally for saying, if these people were making these inclinations, how come you didn't say anything? But from a legal perspective, I just don't see it having much water like the whole Shadowfall thing.
Perfectly said, man. Now, if you want to pull up the AndroidHeadlines.com article,
yes, sir,
by none other than Justin Diaz, an article that I thought was well written,
absolutely
broken down very well to me. And you can let me know when you have it up, and I'll share.
Yeah, it's up.
All right, here we go. All right, so this particular article right here, we won't go through the whole thing, y'all. As you see, it's pretty lengthy, but this was a fairly. I thought I enjoyed reading it. I mean, I read the whole damn thing, and it was a breakdown, and it was a comparison of Stadia to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
Yes, sir.
Ultimate now. So
yes.
So right here, and again, it's a good read. I don't have time to break down every paragraph in it, but I'm like, okay, why can't this be highlighted that Stadia Pro at its still in its infancy, if you ask me, can be already compared to a Game Pass Ultimate. To some gamers now, to some, not all. Some of us may not think that's the case, but I'm just saying some out there do. For Stadia to be seen as that much value already, that it could be put on the same pedestal as a Game Pass Ultimate, says a lot about Stadia. But I don't hear a lot of people, that many people, talking about it, inside and outside of the community. How, it's things like this MM2K again that just gets me thinking and my eyebrows raised, because some people just don't see the value of Stadia. They don't see, they want it to be the next Netflix of gaming, and they're mad at it because it's not the Netflix of gaming and all that stuff. And it's just like, wow. So there's value here, people, is my point. I know this because I've been playing games. I've been purchasing games as a consumer and a gamer on this platform. There's value here. AAA games are missing right now, but there's still over 160 games right now that you could choose from, a lot of those are free with Stadia Pro, right? And then if you look at the fact that Game Pass, which also has old games as well, you start to see more of those similarities. Stadia, of course, is $5 cheaper than Game Pass Ultimate, but Game Pass Ultimate allows you to play your games on PC, and they have AAA titles that are exclusive to the platform. But that doesn't make Stadia trash. That doesn't make that. It's not a reason for the platform to die off. You know what I'm saying? In comparison. And then I heard somebody talking about real quick, how Phil Harrison is implying that Xbox Game Pass or whatever is the reason why, you know what I'm talking about, is the reason why they decided to shut down Stadia Games and Entertainment. Man. What's your thoughts on all of that nonsense?
Well, you know what? I get it. So I'm gonna be fair, and I don't believe it. And I'll give my reasons why I don't believe it. But you see that, and shout out to my brother Tim Dog. Me and him, we've been having some vigorous debate about this, and I love my brother Tim Dog. And Tim Dog has sources. He has people that are connected to things. But from conversations that I've had with people that are close to these quote unquote connections, they're getting bits and pieces of information right, but not all of it right. So to be honest, so it had leaked out, and now that it's out, I can talk about it. I couldn't talk about it before. It had leaked out during the summer that Xbox had caught wind that Stadia was looking to make some major moves based upon their acquisition of Bethesda.
Right.
The way Xbox took it, Storm, they took it as in, the major moves would be that they would give up. So Xbox was under the helm or the mind state that Stadia gave up because of their purchase of Bethesda. Mm-hmm. That's how they deciphered this news. However, Brad Sams had came across information that the move had actually inspired Amazon and Stadia to say, you know what? We may have to reshuffle the deck and make moves just like that. So that was the debate that's on the table. What is this? How did this shake the ecosystem? Because it sure as hell did shake the ecosystem. That was an extreme level event, as my brother Buster Rhymes was saying. That was extreme, a big move that Microsoft made in acquiring Bethesda. The question is, how did that move make everybody else respond? So Amazon's going to do what they do. But it's apparent that Google's mind state is, look, these first-party efforts, us building this from the ground up, is silly. It's stupid in a lot of ways. We should have never done it. We should have never got these people together, all this talent, and tried to nurture them from the beginning, because look at what Microsoft's doing. They're building up capital, and they're buying already established, heavy-hitting studios. Microsoft in this whole venture only put together one studio, and that was I forgot the name of it, the one that's doing Perfect Dark, right?
Yeah.
Everybody else is already
not Rare. Is it Rare?
No, it's the Initiative.
The Initiative. All right, I got it.
All the other 22 studios, Microsoft has acquired. So then that was this message to Google: we're doing this wrong. Now, unfortunately, in letting go the whole SG&E project, they had to let go Typhoon Studios as well, because they got to go back to the drawing board. Okay, right now we're not ready to go one first party versus first party with Microsoft. We got to first get games on this platform. If we don't get games on this platform, the quality games that people want, we're dead in the water anyway. So let's stop this whole race against Microsoft with exclusives. They got development people that got exclusives in the back catalog, and we can't mess with that. Let's first get games on this platform, right? Yeah. And then they can look at first-party development later. So that doesn't mean that they gave up. That means that they realize that they're fighting a battle that they ain't got enough food on the belly to fight yet. They got to still build this platform up. So that's why I think it made us shut things down where we gave up is false. Now, it made Google realize, it made Google realize what they should focus on first and foremost.
Now, check this out. After this, like I told you, if you scroll down to you'll see the titles or whatever as you scroll down. I want you to go to the one that says Stadia versus Xbox Game Pass Ultimate First Party Exclusives, right?
Okay.
If you can, sir. Now, while we're talking about that, and I'm glad you touched on it, we don't run from the tough topics, y'all. We don't. We address them. So Stadia versus Xbox Game Pass Ultimate First Party Exclusives. Now I want y'all to pay attention to how this is written, how it's worded. Okay. Once upon a time, first party exclusives were something that Stadia users could look forward to. With Stadia games and entertainment now having been shut down, though, before any first party exclusives were released, it has none to offer, right? None to offer. Yeah. The Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, on the other hand, has many first-party exclusives to offer, including Gears of War 5, Gears Tactics, and more. That doesn't mean Stadia is a worse platform. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to this now. This is how you do an unbiased article. And this is what I was implying. This is what I was hinting at, and this is what I like to read. When I go to your sites or whatever, and you're writing, and I'm not telling y'all how to do stuff, man. I respect your profession. But this right here is what I would like to read as a reader. You know, when I stop by these sites and everything, that doesn't mean Stadia is a worse platform. Then it goes on to say, but it's unfortunate as first-party exclusives do have the power to draw in crowds, as long as those titles are really good. I like that. I don't see anything wrong with it, y'all. You know what I mean? And again, so I just wanted to stop right there. That right there, to me, y'all, it was a good read throughout. And even when when Justin touched on this right here, it did not make me raise any eyebrows at all. I agree with what he's saying. And it's that simple. So let me go ahead and get back to the gameplay, and then we'll get into the next one, which is a big one for me. I know it's big for MM, but before we go there, man, I want to go and see what's going on in the chat for a couple moments. Hold on.
Shout out to the chat.
Let's go back to that gameplay. So... because I know you all have been talking and we've been so busy into the news, y'all. Like I told you, we put this work in, man, and we want to make sure we present, because a lot of times we have information in them and we never have a chance to get into it because the conversation is so heavy. And I know the phone lines need to be opened up, but let's see. Hey, Amanor said, I need to re-educate you guys. PlayStation good, Stadia bad.
Oh, shoot, Silky now.
We got to get Amanor on the show, man. Yeah, we got to get Amanor on one of the shows. Yeah, or call in, man. You can call in, Amanor. And then
that's
we can
share.
Shout out, man. It's AA, y'all. This is what it's all about. Daryl Smocks Jr. said, I heard that that BS floating around, Xbox purchasing Bethesda is the reason SG&E shut down. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody just hit me with that yesterday, man. I had to... Yeah. And then
they're loving that.
Then the same person that hit me with it then realized how it could be a good thing that SG&E shut down, because they can now pursue other ways to get games.
Shout out to Nerd Nest, and Bill and Lloyd for keeping things level headed particularly to this topic, right? So on one of their more recent shows, they said, when you put Stadia polled, and we've polled people too, and asked the Stadia community, those that are not part of the Stadia community, what could make this platform better? And you know what worked overwhelmingly? It wasn't first party or exclusive games. It was getting the major AAA games on the platform. So Stadia sees stuff like that, Storm, and they say, okay, now Microsoft, as far as exclusives are concerned, we just don't have it to go against them in first party, and that's not our biggest Achilles heel is exclusives. It's just the general content right now. So why don't we focus on that, especially looking after Cyberpunk 2077? There's a lot to say, and I won't say too much on this because I don't want to get nobody in trouble. There's a lot to say that the Cyberpunk 2077 deal had more to do with Stadia's decision than Bethesda did. Bethesda was an eye-opener, the nail in the coffin, for lack of a better term, and I probably should. But the final driver was them looking at Cyberpunk 2077, them seeing that was the biggest push of the platform since its inception, and them saying, this is our golden ticket. And we got to reallocate all of our focus on this. So that's where I told my brother Tim, hey, Tim, I get that you got connections and they're getting bits and pieces, but Bethesda was not the driving piece of this. The driving piece of this was, Bethesda was the eye-opener. The driving piece was the fact that they saw their biggest attention-grabbing effort was with Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay. Well, moving right along, I don't know if I'm going to give you time to get the article, the roadmap one, if we can.
Oh, got it. Oh, brother, you gave me the cue.
We want to go into that before the live calls. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because this is going to be
live calls.
Yeah, this is going to be a heavy one, man. This is going to be a heavy one.
Yep.
I got some things to say about it, and I definitely have not gotten the chance to thoroughly hear your take on it and how you felt when you discovered it. But man, again, it goes back to that, the research is there. We've been saying it for months now, man. Just been saying over and over and over that, it's out there for you if you need to do this research. There's several different places you can look if you want to find positives or clarity when it comes to Stadia.
Absolutely.
I don't know, man. It's not that hard for me, so I just don't understand it.
I can tell you what it is. I'm gonna break it down to you after, but I'm gonna first go over. I'm just gonna take a minute to go over what's in this article, okay, and then we're gonna talk about what this signifies for the cloud gaming community.
All right, let me know when it's up.
It's up, brother.
All right, here we go.
All right. So what you see here is an interview that occurred the day that the SG&E closure occurred. It was an interview with Stadia's Catherine Hisayo. She's a spokesperson and the head of and a product manager for Stadia. And the article reads, interview, Stadia's Catherine Hisayo on State Share and the future of the platform. Product manager Catherine Hisayo opens up on Google's roadmap for gaming.
Whoa.
And I'm not going to go over the article. It's a big, beefy article. I'm going to stream through it real quick just so y'all can see how big it is. Just look it up. You'll find it. Great article. Signify. It doesn't speak. It doesn't say a lot on as far as details are concerned, but it answers a lot of questions that may make you scratch your head and go, why is the cloud community saying this when this was out there the day that the SG&E closure went out? And MM2K found it that day. I did a video on it that day, but nobody in the cloud community that was asking for the stuff that was in here found this. What's going on here? So I just want to go to a couple of quick things real quick, Storm. So they're being asked, they're talking about state share in this, right? And the usage of Stadia features going forward. So one of the comments that stuck out first and foremost, and again, this happens the day of the SG&E closure, the spokesperson is kind of like your media head of like the White House, your press secretary. They're made aware of everything because they're the spokesperson. So they got to do the damage control or the bullet points and all the other stuff. So they're made abreast of everything, right? Yeah. So the spokesperson for Stadia says that, hey, look, in regards to state share, did I pass it up? Oh, they said, golly, give me 1 second. Oh, okay, here it goes. It says, we're already seeing that now in regards to teams prioritizing state share over other features. We're already seeing that now with this launch within the Hitman trilogy, and we're excited to see how developers in 2021 and beyond continue to adapt. Then they say, let's see here. Then there's another part where they're asked, what percentage of the upcoming games will support state share? And this is Hasayo's response. We don't have any details to share at this time, but we're looking forward to showcasing state share in more Stadia games in 2021 and beyond. So then this reflects to this cloud gaming community this way. And read the article. So not a lot of stuff, but it talks about a roadmap as far as their focus on getting more of their features to more of their development partners.
Well, another part of that roadmap to me can be, and I really don't need to know exactly what game. It would be nice to know what games are coming. Some games we do know that's coming to the platform, but we can't know all of them. I mean, I don't think that we know all the games of Microsoft. Again, you got to put Microsoft, PlayStation, and Nintendo and everybody into it because it's the gaming industry we're talking about. Cloud gaming is a part of that industry, so it has to be in a discussion. At least that's what I think. But yeah, like the fact that they already announced that over 100 more games are coming, more games than what we had, the 160 plus that we have right now on the platform. We know that that's going to probably look like more than 260 plus in a 2-year period. Some of those are going to be AAA games. And that's another thing. Some people don't seem to think that we have any AAA games or any AAA game developers on this platform, man. Like, again, that right there is that closed-eyed approach. And I just don't get it. You said you were going to help me with this, and I need you to help me right now more than ever. Wait. So if we know, that Far Cry 6 is coming, for example, who develops that game? You know what I'm saying? Ubisoft, man. So we know that other games are coming to the platform, MM2K, that are AAA games. They've already been announced, man. I don't understand why that's so hard for people to really wrap their heads around.
Well, Storm, the problem is that it's due diligence. It's easier for people like you and me, and I'm not trying to do the old man shaking his fist at the window thing, but me and you've been gaming for decades.
Yeah.
And we've been deep into the culture for decades. So we know, and we play everything for decades. Like, even though I preferred Xbox, I've always had PlayStations, right? There's a lot of us that, and so with our lineage, we read the GMR magazines, right? And we know about the electronic boutiques, and we know about what was coming on from this company. Now we know about all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not hard for us to connect the dots and see past precedent because we experienced it when it happened, and it all makes sense to what's happening now. But here's the problem with the cloud community. It's clear and paramount to me, and I'm not trying to be mean. It's just you got to be self-aware. Like, I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I do certain things and I don't do certain things. I go ask for help. Hey, look, I'm not good at this. Can you help me with this? You know what I'm saying? And it's time for the cloud community to be self-aware. We got a lot of entities, and I'm not blaming just one or two entities or one or two people. We got a lot of entities, Storm, and there's no other way to say it but to say it, that don't have that lineage, that don't have that eye for due diligence, that maybe just got into gaming like a generation or two ago, that don't understand the progression of things, that wasn't around when Xbox was going through the same exact thing, and to why Xbox and can see how Xbox became the juggernaut that it is through going through these growing pains. All they see is the juggernaut Xbox now, the super juggernaut, which is PlayStation now, and they think it happened overnight. So therefore, that they don't have it infused within them to do this research, to do this due diligence. That's why a lowly MM2K that's doing this from his attic, waiting for his wife to come home from work, finds these articles when, Storm, time after time. When these publications that pop up early in the morning, check this out. Oh my God, you're going to clutch your heart over this. They never find this stuff. Because if you're looking for bad news, if you want bad news, or if you want news that fits your narrative, you're only going to find that. But when you're people like me, like Project Storm, Snow Bunny of PNTS, and many of our friends that do the due diligence and come down the middle, you'll be able to catch all of this all of the time. You'll understand that, hey, even though we have our own individual use cases, that what Stadia is looking to do is to adopt casuals.
Right.
The casuals don't care about there just being a plethora of games. They want to know, A, that there's quality content, and B, a quality infrastructure.
And quality content to them can look like a lot of those indie titles that we're seeing be announced as well.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
Some of those gamers, casual gamers.
But to the casual gamers, they want to know that they're quality indie games like a Valheim, which we'll give credit to GFN, Valheim, or all the way to games like Outriders that are being on there, or a Madden. You know what I'm saying? Is the average casual, they don't play a whole bunch of games. They play 2 games, the same 2 games every year, and then they go pick over a third game. They might test a third game. Mm-hmm. That's the largest target demo of Stadia. GFN's target demo and Amazon's target demo is different. So where we fall short as a cloud community is we take target demos of GFN and Amazon, which is going after the 5%, and we say, oh, this is the way Stadia is supposed to be. No, Stadia is on a different track. And the track that they're on is to a track of people where there's more gamers. So because they're trying to appeal to more gamers, it's going to take them more time to get to that apex. The problem with the cloud gaming community right now in this reporting is it's only focused on the 5%, and they're trying to talk about a 95% platform with 5% lens, with a 5% lens on it. And that's not good. So cloud community, I ask and I implore you to reevaluate how you look at this stuff. Don't reevaluate your opinion. Your opinion is your opinion, and you can't be wrong on your opinion. But reevaluate how you put everything out on the table. The proof is in the pudding. The fact that y'all can't find this stuff and y'all fail time after time and finding these articles proves what we're saying, that you're not doing your due diligence. You're not looking at this from 5,000 feet, and you don't represent all of the cloud community, which is a slither of the 5%, but more importantly, the 95%. And I say more importantly, lightly, Storm, and I'm gonna shut up after I say this, because cloud gaming is integral to the 95% who can't afford to buy a $500 Xbox, who can't even afford to buy a $300 Series S. They can't do what Storm and I do or what other people do. They can't get all this stuff. They don't have the time to be wasted with a console, or they don't have the fundage. So they need a platform that allows them to get in their games, that get their quality games, not every single game that's out there, but gets them to the quality games that has a good structure. That's what Stadia is aiming for. So when you're looking at Stadia, you got to look at how it's making progress under that lens, not what GFN's doing, not what Amazon's doing, because they're on different tracks.
Whoa, man. Hey, I don't have anything to say, man. Phone lines, we might want to open those up, MM2K, but we might want to go over.
Now, hold on, one second.
All right.
Gamer TV says the 5 to 10% is responsible for 80. No, that's not true. They are. You could say they are most of. They represent most of the homes that make a lot of purchases, but no, that's wrong. The numbers have already. The 95%. You look, Gamer TV. And I know you look. I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but you got to look at the numbers. And this is what I do, brother. Business analytics and a lot of other things. Nobody has ever said that before. And I'm not trying to be rude. The 95%. Look at the number one games that are out there. It's your casual games. It's your Fortnites, your Maddens, your Call of Duties. That's what the casuals are into, right? Now, occasionally, your Spider-Man's a casual game. Your God of Wars that may get up there, or some of your more hardcore titles might get up there, but they don't stay up there, right? Gamer TV, they don't stay up there. It is your casual games that are on your NPDs, your UK charts, all that stuff. It's the casuals that make the money. Let me give you a prime example. Xbox. In a year when Sony had the biggest and baddest hardcore games in its 24-year history, they made $16 billion. Microsoft, who was considered to have nothing but dog-ish that same year, that did not put content out there that fed the hardcore at all. The only thing that charted that year was State of Decay, and that was 1 month. Guess what they did? They made $10 billion. When you break down the numbers, Gamer TV, where did that $10 billion come from? Fortnite, Minecraft, and the DLC from those games. Those are casual affairs. Most of the money is being made by the 95%. So you don't have a chance in hell unless you gather them too. Right? So those are just the numbers. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Shout out to Eddie Player One.
Word. Eddie Player One in the building, y'all. So with that being said, MM2K, man, phone lines are open. We still have a bit of news, so we might go over a little bit over. If we go over, I apologize, but it's probably going to be worth it.
Absolutely.
Check it out, man. So we want to go. So people keep talking to me and saying GeForce Now is the way to play. Shout out to GeForce Now. I have used it. Some of my first cloud gaming videos on my channel that you still can find, again, are on GeForce Now, right? So sure. I definitely have some hours and days of playtime testing GeForce Now, and overall, I like it, right? But it is not the depth of Stadia. It is not going to make Stadia disappear. It is not, for real, to me, it's not even in the same bracket, except the word cloud. You know what I'm saying? It's not in the same bracket, man. I mean,
and that's nothing against
you're talking about a virtual PC. No, it's not. It's not a shot. Different. It's not a shot against GeForce Now, but I need to bring things back to perspective for the gamers that keep hitting me with the nonsense, man. Like GeForce Now is much better than Stadia, right? Now, if I didn't believe in Stadia, I wouldn't be on this damn SML podcast. That's for sure. Of course, we believe in Stadia, but we're giving reasons why. We're not fanboying because I play every damn thing. I tried to boot up Luna the other day. It didn't work out for me. MM2K, they didn't. For some reason, my Ubisoft Plus account would not link, wouldn't sync. And when I started the game, it took like a couple minutes to even get into a game. And then I got the network connection error, and it was kind of unplayable, you know. And so these are not me just trying to knock the service. These are facts, man. I could prove it if I need to. I try not to do all that, but I can back it up. Then when it comes to GeForce Now, again, we're talking about proof. I wanted to play that this morning before the show so I could see, you know, because every now and then I want to see what updates, what patch notes and everything are out there. And then I got greeted with a message, man. I don't know if you have that message available. But all I know, MM2K, is that I play games on Stadia. I jump in. There's no waiting. There's no, you know what I'm saying, no real headaches. Now, to the people that are having connection issues and stuff like that, where you are getting, you know, maybe getting kicked out of the games, or you're seeing the fair message, we've talked about this several times, so I don't want to go into it too much. We've talked about it several times, but here, I just want to say that it could be, because I learned that, you know, by me putting a better GPU in my desktop PC, it definitely seemed to have helped. By me using like Chrome Canary and other Chromium-based browsers and stuff, it kind of helps. So there's some troubleshooting that might be able to be done for all these services. But for me, all I'm saying is Stadia is just, it works, right? And it works well, as you've been seeing this gameplay on the screen for the entire duration of the show, with no major blips, no major hiccups, no drops, no, you know, pixelation, not tessellation. But I want to bring this up right now, man, because this is what I got this morning when I tried to play GeForce Now on my desktop PC. Now, I didn't have time to troubleshoot. I just wanted to jump in, you know? And then sometimes when I jump in, I actually get greeted with a message that said that they're looking for a rig, and I'm a founder. I jumped on it as soon as I could, and I still paid a $5 something. And even though I'm saying something negative, it sounds negative about GeForce Now, I still pay that money every month, and I will continue to, because that's how I'm going to be able to bring you all the truth when it comes to GeForce Now. So that's my point. We're talking about facts. We're talking about the truth. We're talking about now, we understand that Stadia is trash. Stadia might not work for me. You got to understand, Project Storm and M2K, y'all keep acting like Stadia works for everybody, right? That's what they said several times to us. We could prove it. Y'all might have seen it. But here it is on screen. And I hate to do this, man, but GeForce Now, I can't doctor that. I can't Photoshop that. That's a message from the people, man. So what I'm saying is, guys, yeah, Stadia is not perfect. But the reason we keep doing this every damn day is because Stadia is the least, it gives us the least hassle. I'm not going to say it's hassle-free, but it gives me the least amount of hassles. And I've heard MM2K say that. That's why I said us. I'm not speaking for him. I'm just backing what he's already said. This is why we do what we do. So, I mean, now how would we look going out there, MM? Just throwing out all the negative news. Damn, Storm again, bro. You got another issue with GeForce Now. It's trash, bro. It's trash. Don't play it. It's dead. That wouldn't be cool, right? So we start asking people before you go out there and you put the words out there and you spin that narrative to look at it from all different sides. Brother Chase has said that many times recently. Shout out to him. So I just wanted to put that up there, MM2K. And there's another part. There was another article, and we probably won't go deep into it, but it was GeForce Now versus Stadia. See, I went GeForce Now versus Stadia. I went xCloud versus Stadia. Luna, we'll cover that in a different show because we've already touched on it. And not a lot of people really are comparing Luna to Stadia for some reason. I don't know, MM. Like, I don't know if Luna just gets a free pass when it comes to competition with Stadia. I don't know what the hell is going on, but that's just my take on it, man. So, people, it is what it is. All we try to do is put these facts out here for y'all. With that being said, the phone lines are open. MM, I don't know if you have anything to throw in there real quick before we move on.
Yeah, no, we're having a debate in chat, which is a good debate. Again, you can't be wrong for your opinion, but I want to make sure that we're rooted in facts.
Yeah.
Got to make sure that we understand the difference between a casual and a hardcore gamer. A hardcore gamer, as far as the industry considers it, if I pick up Madden and I pick up Call of Duty, I could spend most of my time playing those games. And I'm going through every single mode because those are the games I want to play. Mm-hmm. But if those are the only two games that I play, I'm a casual gamer. Because I'm not going into a plethora catalog of games. That's why the term core gamer was created. It's a term. Core gamer, casual gamer. Like, for instance, my cousin of mine, all he does is play Call of Duty. He plays it all day. Hey, yo, bro, you want to get into that crisis? No, what is this? You know what I'm saying? He'll play some Madden too. That's all he plays is Call of Duty all game. He's not interested in the community. He's not interested in the lineage. He's not interested in nothing but playing Call of Duty. He's a casual gamer. He's not casual when it comes to Call of Duty. He's a hardcore Call of Duty player. But when it comes to the overwhelming majority of gaming and the hobby of gaming, he doesn't do that. Just like I'm just because I like watching kung fu flicks. If I watch kung fu flicks all day, I may be a hardcore kung fu flick watcher, but that don't make me a hardcore moviegoer. We got to look at this from a money-making industry, hate to say it, bigwig perspective, because this is how they make their money. They don't look at somebody that just plays Call of Duty as a core gamer, because their opportunity to get them off of that game and get them into more core experiences are next to nilch. So that's when we say the word casual gamer versus core gamer, we're talking textbook definitions. All right, now that we got that clear, No, he's a hardcore Call of Duty player. That's right. So that's it. Anyway, look, this is a new era. And even the people that I love and I appreciate and I respect, we're going to keep it factual. The industry catalogs them that way. All right. So to move on to address your point, Storm, with GFN, here's what's going on. Stadia is the biggest and boldest proposal to cloud gaming. Phone lines are open, by the way. It's the biggest and boldest proposal to cloud gaming. The media doesn't like that, Storm. So because the media doesn't like that, they attacked it. Now, they like GFN because it's tethered to a dedicated device. They give Amazon a pass because it's not Google. And Google is just going to have this target on its back. The only thing it can do, brother, we talked about this on SML Podcast, is that they're just going to have to keep their head down and they're going to have to they're just going to have to prove it. They can't talk about it. They got to prove it. They got to keep doing what they did with Outcasters. They got to keep bringing the Maddens and the FIFAs, and they got to start bringing them day and date. We got to see Resident Evil day and date. If we don't, until we start seeing that, they're going to remain to have a target on their back. And, it is what it is. It may not be fair, but it is what it is. But to the cloud community, we got to do a better job at representing our opinions. We got to do a better job at representing our opinions and speaking to the masses. Stop trying to fit people in boxes that suits your opinions and speak to the masses. If you don't do it that way, you're not a proper, I'm going to say it, you're not a proper cloud reporting entity. You're not. Because cloud gamers need to know that they're getting a good infrastructure across the board, and they know that they're getting quality content. Now, to GFN's case, to what my brother Storm just showed you on the screen. You're not, is this a quality infrastructure? I get it that certain people can get great fidelity and great performance out of GFN, but it's not universal enough. So we're on the calls to say, hey, look, this is great that I'm getting it this way, but we got to get it more across the board, GFN. What are you doing about that? Because it doesn't matter if you can show me a clip of, well, look, the texture quality is this. I can't play that clip. It does nothing for me, Storm. I'm getting ghosting and artifacting when I'm playing GFN.
Right.
There's a problem. It needs to be addressed. Not saying that GFN is dead. No, we're not saying that. But there are things that need to be addressed. Stop reporting off of your opinions. Also, when it comes to Luna, there are some entities out there that are able to have a great experience with Luna. I can't have that. That there needs to be improvement, because it's important to have that improvement, because the gamer, the unsuspecting gamer that does not have the financial means to just say, well, oh, if it doesn't work on GFN, I'll just play it on my PC. Or, oh, if a game ain't working on Amazon for me, I'll just go to my Xbox. Those that don't have that financial means make up the majority of the cloud gaming community. They're in this because they don't have the time to be tinkering with stuff that doesn't automatically boot up and boot up well. They don't have the financial means to have a second option. So if you're not speaking to that, if you're not looking at these platforms through that lens, you're not doing the cloud community its proper due.
Absolutely. So now with that being said, man, there's one more. I do want you to bring up going back to Android Authority, man. It's the one
we got a phone call.
Oh, okay.
And let's answer that phone call right now. Hello, you are live with Project Storm MM2K on SML Podcast. Who is it that we're talking to, and what is it that you want to talk about, our good friend?
Project MM2 Project. What is going on?
He lived up to his promise, baby.
What's the deal?
D-Mac in the house. Can you hear him, Storm? Can y'all hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, good. What's up, D-Mac? How you been?
How you guys doing today? All right,
fantastic,
doing
fantastic.
Good. All right. I wanted to, if you guys don't mind, I was looking over the articles of the lawsuit by Google, right?
Yep.
And as I was listening to what you were saying, I think it was something very suspicious that I read near the bottom, which is very bizarre. I'm going to read it to you. It says, injunction prohibiting the future sales of games purchased through Stadia So this person that's suing or trying to sue Stadia wants them to stop selling games to the platform now. I don't understand what that has to do with the 4K. I'm like, I even asked my wife. I said, I'm reading this article. What is prohibiting them from any future sales through Stadia has to do with the 4K? It has nothing to do with that. Why?
It seems like he just wants it dead, man. That's all, like everybody else. Yeah. Seems like he wants it dead, man. I mean, if that's true, and I do believe what you're saying is true, but yeah, I think that's a nothing burger.
Like, it's Android police. Google faces possible class action over Stadia 4K claims by Corbin Davenport. And if you go near the bottom of the article, you'll see where he says injunction of prohibiting the future sales of games purchased through Stadia. And it's like, what? So you want them Stadia to stop selling games? That tells me that you just want the platform to die. This is going to be thrown out of court.
Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if our favorite publications were behind that. DMAC, there's so much fear about Stadia. It's ridiculous and it's sickening to a point. If the like, for instance, nothing against Atari VCS. I have nothing against it. But my personal opinion is that platform is going nowhere. I could be wrong. But because I feel like it's going nowhere, do you hear MM2K or Project Storm talking about Atari VCS? No, it's going to go nowhere. It's a non-brainer. But the simple fact that you got so much emphasis on Stadia, where everybody thinks that Stadia is going to die, proves what? That they're projecting. They're hoping that it dies, and that why you got stupid lawsuits like this.
Absolutely, man.
Right, and it's just very interesting. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good, brother.
No, I'm good.
No, go ahead. I was saying is I just think it's very interesting because when you look at the technology and that no clouding service can do this, what Google's doing right now is pretty special in its own way. Even though it may seem similar, it's not similar. I just think, I don't know, man. I'm starting to really think that there is some type of entity behind here that does not want Google to be successful because they're seeing in only a year and some change, they have caught up and are playing games at a fidelity to where it took these consoles and some other, platforms years to accomplish. And it just goes to show how fast technology, evolves.
Yo, hey, I hear you. And just to get my take on it real quick though, DMAC, man, we've seen the hate before and we've seen everybody try to backpedal and like when Cyberpunk dropped. Now, Stadia is the best way to play, the second best way to play, or whatever they were saying, right? So when those other big games that comes to this platform, and I'm going to say when, not if, because I know other big games are coming to the platform. When they do start to drop this year and beyond, right? Again, now we're not talking 100% absolutes because the doors could close for some unforeseen reason, but we can't spend every day looking for it to close, right? I mean, are we going to do that or are we going to play these games? So with that being said, man, the hate has already been there. We've seen it before and we predicted this. Myself, MM2K, and others have said flat out, they will start to backpedal when games like Cyberpunk drop. And they did that. You stopped hearing a lot of the nonsense when Cyberpunk was released and when Phil got on stage and talked about Immortals, Phoenix Rising, and that exclusive island or content that Stadia was getting, and all that stuff, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So the hate is just always going to be there, bro. And it seems as if they are winning sometimes, man, with this negative spin. Because if you get enough, you get millions of people believing it, it does. I'm sure it becomes harder for Google to you know what I'm saying? I'm sure they scratch their head like, what the hell is going on here sometimes? But with that being said, it should inspire them to go harder with bringing these games quicker and shutting down Stadia Games and Entertainment to go out and get the next Call of Duty or whatever on this platform or the whole damn franchise on the platform so it can start to then make the platform look more appealing, and it will.
Right. And I'm going to get off after I say this because just in case somebody else is trying to call in. I have something to say about that Amazon thing too. You guys are absolutely right on that. There's no information being put out on Amazon, even though I have articles on Amazon struggling. Like this one studio by Adam. This one article by Adam Bankhurst off of IGN. Says Amazon Game Studios report detailed struggle, bro culture, mismanagement, and canceled project. This came out January 2021, and it was updated February the 4th, 2021. And there has been nobody talking about this, even though this was an extension of Bloomberg, talking about Amazon's failed projects over and over again, and the people that they brought in to manage some of these gaming projects that have pushed out women or people of certain cultures that they don't want to be a part of these projects due to in-house, politics. And it's like, you don't hear any of this, even though none of this is happening on the other side. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's over. It dissipated, man. That's swept under the rug. You will never hear it again, Right. But what we will hear is Stadia's dead.
I agree with you guys. Right. All right, man, let me get off the phone. Hey.
All right. Hey, yo, we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Man.
Yes, sir, man. I wish the show can go for 3-4 hours sometimes, man. But we damn sure appreciate you calling in, man. As always, brother, we'll be in touch with you and in tune to these streets, man. So keep on gaming and keep on being positive, man. Enjoy it all.
All right, man.
Hey, thank you, D-Mac. Appreciate you, good brother. All right.
No problem, man. And appreciate you guys. Take it easy.
Yeah. So
I don't know if we want to take one more phone call because Bippity said he's trying to call in, but let me say this real quick. I want to respond to something I just saw on Twitter.
Yep. Then we'll start rapping after.
We can start rapping it. Shout out to my good brother Chase, the gaming advocate. And again, you can have everybody's entitled to their opinions. What we like to do here on this platform is we want to start making sure that we focus on particulars and facts and things like that. So, and often we'll rebut information that we see out there. It's nothing against anybody. We'll rebut information and we'll put things in what we feel is the proper perspective. So my brother went out here and he said he got questions on why he didn't report on the Catherine Hasayo piece that we reported on earlier. And he points out a part where the article says that before the news dropped today, we got to question Stadia spokesperson and project manager Catherine Hasayo about Stadia's latest flagship feature, StateShare, which allows gamers to share a simple link. All right, so here's the thing. As the spokesperson of a Fortune 500 company, you're in the room with you're in the room with the group. When major decisions are made, the spokesperson, like what do you call that? The media person for the White House. So you're in the room with this. So even though this article, the interview happened before the news was released, the spokesperson would have been aware of this. Okay, that this is what was happening and what was going down. All right. You don't continue to let that information sit out there at that continuum if that isn't your plan going forward. Another thing that we can take in tandem from that is the YouTube posting for the feature that also was dropped the same day. So you have this Input magazine article that was from Catherine Hasayo, this spokesperson that would have been made aware. Trust me, I've been in this situation dozens of times. That would have been made aware of such move because the spokesperson is part of the PR effort, the corporate PR effort that knows about all these things with HR and legal because they got to, work on the bullet points for them. And then you got the whole YouTube position that was created that again talks to a long-term systemic retail stamp from the Stadia retail product. That's more than a coincidence, people. Now, you're entitled to your opinion, and that's fine. But I just want to put out there that the evidence, again, continues to support. And none of us knows that 100% continuation of what Stadia is going to do. But as we go over this stuff time after time, the evidence supports that the platform is looking to be around at a retail level 2021 and beyond. You don't make those comments knowing what's coming around the corner, right? You don't create a job for the YouTube connection of said features and the retail version of the product unless you're continuing to go business as usual with the retail side.
And
so
that,
again, I respect
and that could definitely still include the shutting down of SG&E. You know what I'm saying? It can still include all that.
Exactly. Yep. The spokesperson is the most critically important wordsmith that you can have out there. They're not going to sit there and allow this thing to continue on or whatever. Even if they was like, look, we want to be super vague and we don't feel comfortable with this out there. They would have gotten notes on the article. They would have been fully aware of that. Those notes would have been brought back to management because anything that they said that was out there on the ethos, they know would be that they know is counterproductive to their message or what they're trying to scale back. They want to be abreast of. There's no way they let that article continue as it is. And that's a talking point. She continues to hammer in 2021 and beyond. She hammers in on that for a reason. Google left that out there for a reason. Now, whether you decide what that reason is, if you want to believe, well, Google is just sloppy and they forgot this was out there, you're entitled to believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather believe what I'm hearing from Google on that side of the coin versus like the haters that I've been, that some people have been listening to since Stadia was announced. I would definitely believe Stadia if I'm going to believe anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just me.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not saying that Stadia can't misinform people or they might not have communication issues. I'm not saying that, y'all. I'm not blind, right? But but when it comes to this whole thing, man, everybody's speculating and guessing and stuff, man, I'm going to go with Stadia because it's their platform. They own the shit.
It's your choice. But again, I just want to put that out there from the Fortune 500 perspective. The spokesperson is going to be abreast of this. I just want to add the facts there. The facts that we do know. The spokesperson would have been abreast of this. And common practice is if you're going to make such a radical move, which Stadia knew this was a radical move. If you're going to make such a radical move, you're going to take that interview, those notes, you're going to ask Input Magazine for those notes back, and you're going to take those notes and you're going to give them back to upper management, legal, HR, and everybody to possibly know of anything that contradicts your messaging that you want to be out there, right? And if they know this is out there and they still let that article go, if they didn't want to retract it at all, that says a lot as far as I'm concerned. But
absolutely,
you take from it whatever you want.
Well, I think Bibbidi was
along with the YouTube position.
Yeah.
Bibbidi Bob said he wants to call in, Storm.
Come on, call in, Bibbidi, real quick.
Come on, Bibbidi.
Man.
Come on, call in, brother. Let me put it back out there. Let me see.
Yeah.
There we go. Skype line. If y'all want to leave a yap or two, I'll be looking out for it. But come on, call in.
Yep, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up after this, man.
Yes, sir.
As Bibbidi's calling in, man, let me know because I don't hear it ringing or whatever. But it's the reason why, again, and for some people, man, I know sometimes I get tired of the whole thing happening, this narrative being spun over and over and over. That's all we hear, man. Stadia's dead again. Oh, it's week 8 now. Stadia again. Stadia's dead. Oh, it's the worst platform to play games, man. Oh, it's gonna die. Man, I get tired of talking about it, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we have to get out here and do what we do and inform the people who might not know what the hell is going on, who are just listening to their favorite YouTubers and stuff, man. That's what it's all about for me. So I just wanted to point that out as we wait for Bibbidi. If Bibbidi is still here, man.
Bibbidi, we put the number out there, good brother. So give us a call.
So we're going to give him a couple minutes and then, because I do want to hear what he had to say.
All right. We got somebody calling in. Hello, it is MM2K Project Storm on SML. Who is it that we're talking to? And what is it you want to talk about? Our good friend.
What is up? It is Bibbidi Bob. What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
What's going on, my good friend?
Man, nothing much. I just wanted to call in real fast, and I just wanted to say there is a lot of negative, news right now, but a lot of people forget, like, we already know Stadia is going to be coming to the new Chromecast within 4 months.
Yep.
They said first half of 2021, which is already in millions of homes, right?
Yeah.
A lot of homes, actually, because I think they sold out when it first came out, right? I believe they sold out. And then on top of that, you know, my like thought process of this is like, for them to just drop that news like at the beginning of the year, and apparently they were planning this since last year. You know, who knows what they have in store? Like for them to just casually drop that and be like, okay, you know, like who knows what is actually coming to this platform and what they're gonna do. So that's why I'm just like, you know, everyone. I mean, I understand people, you know, going crazy and like just not what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you know, just kind of losing their like belief in it. But I mean, for me, like I think big things are coming, and you know, I'm gonna stay with the platform until the wheels fall off. You know, if that ever happened, I don't think it will though, because there's so many people trying to shut it down, and it's just like nah. And on top of that, we don't know how many people are on the platform. Like the numbers online is just a small number. Like we're a small community compared to what's actually out there. There's a lot of people that don't keep up with YouTube, that don't do any of that. So,
well, Bibbity, hey, let me stop.
That's all I got to say.
Let me stop you right there, bro. You bring up some of the numbers, man. And I know that's a big piece for a lot of people, man. Gamers within the community like us, you know what I'm saying? Like the numbers and everything. We talk about that all the time. That's a valid point for people who throw out the fact that they're not able to get the sheer number of people that's on Xbox or PlayStation or PC or Nintendo, right? So, but I want to say this, and I want to throw this out as an example. All right, we're talking about Madden, for example. This is just one of the games. We've heard about Destiny 2 and others, but Madden, for example, right? Sometimes you see 100 and something up to 400 or 500 and something people searching on Madden for a ranked match, right? This is just ranked, one way to play. But if you go down and look at the number of franchise leagues that was started on Madden, you will see over 21,000. Now, I know y'all didn't know that because y'all don't do the Madden thing. Go check it out. Go check out how many franchise leagues have been started up on Stadia. And then come back to me and let me know if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I might have read it. Maybe it was 213 or something. But I think it was over 21,000 and something leagues have been started on Stadia. And the number of players that are ranked every day still continue to go up for some strange reason. I don't know why. But I'm just saying, man, so I know the numbers are something to pay attention to. We can't expect for this platform to be equivalent to platforms that's been out for decades. We just can't. I just don't know how anybody can expect that. So I'm glad you brought that up, man. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, like exactly. And like, I mean, a lot of the people that Stadia is going after, they're probably not even multiplayer people. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of them they probably just play offline, not offline, but you know, like the single player stuff. So like, I mean, we just don't know. Like they could be
that was just franchise alone, and franchise alone. Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. But some people are like 6 players play over there. You guys are the only ones play over there and stuff, right? But I just again, man, I try to find facts and proof and all that to back up what I'm saying. I mean, they just pull stuff out their rear end, and it is what it is. But we have to be able to fight through that, and you know, see the truth and everything. And that's what we're gonna try to continue to do, Bibbity. So man, look, I don't know if you had anything for Bibbity, man, but I appreciate you calling in, Bibbity. I tell you that.
No, Bibbity, I think that's great stuff, man. Hey, thank you for supporting the platform, brother, as always. You know what I'm saying? Look, if you like the platform, if you're enjoying the platform, continue to like it and enjoy it. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. We're going to continue to talk about pros and cons of the platform, but I think we're doing it through its proper lens. The proper lens is this is a platform that is over time trying to mature to the 95%, not to have an immediate impact to solely the 5%. You got a lot of 5% percentage views on this platform, and it's not for you right now. So those are just our thoughts.
Yeah, and then to the people that love the platform, but you don't fight for it, you know what I'm saying? Like if you love something, you fight for it. You know, that's how I feel about it. And I know we're talking about gaming here, but people are very passionate to the point where they want to get personal sometimes. So with that being said, I figured I'd just throw this out there. If you love something, don't you think it's worth fighting for? Like dispelling some of the BS that you hear out there in the streets? That's all. Just leave you. I'm going to leave you with that thought. But hey, Bibbity, we thank you, man. Hey, appreciate you for calling in, man. We'll catch you on another future show. And we'll see you around like we do every day, baby. So keep doing your thing, man.
All right. Yeah,
all right, brother.
Thanks for having me, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
You
no
too.
problem. Take it easy, bro. So, man, on that note, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. I think it was a good one, a good discussion that needs to be had, and it won't be over. It won't be over because until Stadia dies, we're gonna be doing this right now. And I say fighting the battle, and I know it's not a battle for us to fight. Per se. I mean, it is, but I'm talking about alone. What I'm hoping for is that people realize that, like, hey, man, like I asked the question once, MM2K, and I really want to put it out there again. If Stadia does die, who killed it? That's all I'm going to say. Who really killed it? But anyway, on that note, man, anything you want to say before we close out?
Yeah. Like I said, it's okay to have different opinions. Your opinions, you can't be wrong for your opinions. What we do here, me, Storm, and others that are on or going to be on the platform is we're making it more staunch that we're looking at Stadia through its proper lens, and we're looking at GFN through its proper lens, and we're looking at Amazon through its proper lens and shadow. We're putting all of these in the same bucket. Yes, they do share the name cloud gaming, but they all are dishes meant to serve a certain taste. And I think we're doing Stadia a disservice. We're doing the cloud gaming community a disservice when we try to mix this together like jambalaya and act like it's supposed to be a one serve all dish. No, these are dishes that are set to serve for different purposes, and it's time that we do a better job at doing that. So we're going to illustrate that. And then, there's nothing wrong with having the debates. Another thing that I would like to see the cloud community do, because I've been doing it for 3 years, is don't get upset when somebody has a difference of opinion or someone challenges your opinion. If someone challenges your opinion and maybe there was something that you overlooked, that can only make your opinion stronger. I remember when my good brother 6'4" challenged my opinion and my brother and my brother Chase's opinion about that one Connect. I didn't get sour over it. I learned from that experience. And I said, you know what? Now I see the light. So you can only get better by having broad discussions and having inclusive debate. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So
there it is. With that being said, people, we're going to go ahead and close this one out. Remember, tomorrow we got me and Snow Bunny Gaming. We're going to be chopping it up over on Yin Meets Yang, a gaming podcast on Snow Bunny 426. Snow Bunny Gaming, Snow Bunny Gaming, right here on YouTube. You can check us out at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, y'all. Until the next one, y'all, keep it safe, keep it positive, keep it gaming. We out.